Ta-da. And we are live. Woo, we had a break in transmission. Guys, I'm my own technical director. I am the stage manager. I am the coordinator of talent. I am executive producer. I am the host. I am everything. So we had a break in transmission, but we are back. So for you guys that are just joining us, this is Let's Chat Again, and we are kind of chopping it up with my October guests, even though we're in November. I thought it would be a great idea to just bring everyone back and kind of talk about, our experiences post episodes, a little bit of girl talk, some hot topics, what our month has been like. So I just thought to bring everybody back, and I love this group. This was a great group. So these episodes would not have been possible without Kendra, Kimberly, Marty, and Janae, and Darrell, who is missing because she's traveling. And so I want to say thank you, first of all, to all of you, because this would not have been possible if you had not accepted my invitation. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
having us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. So I'm going to reopen our gorgeous session with our classic. All right, welcome back, guys. I'd like to officially introduce you guys. Kendra, you're not guys, you're girls, you're women, you're moms. So we have Kendra Smith, we have Kimberly Darrell, we have Janae Simonet, and we have Marty Elaine Day. And I'm going to keep calling you that even when I see you in person. So, just get used to it. So, Kendra, tell us yourself, describe yourself in 3 words, and go.
Oh my God.
I did.
Resilient, determined, disciplined.
Awesome. Kimberly.
Oh my God. Compassionate, strong,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a tough one.
OCD.
Isn't it so hard to talk about?
I
this?
know.
Yeah.
OCD.
Kind.
What is it?
Kind.
Kind. Okay. Nice. Janae.
Sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
crazy, funny, fun, crazy, fun. Crazy fun. It's like one
Crazy fun is one
Okay,
word.
good.
one word.
Uh-huh.
And workaholic-ish.
Workaholic-ish. Mm-hmm. And Marty.
Fun,
Uh-huh.
determined,
Mm-hmm.
and unapologetically black. That's one word.
Love that.
Woo! Yes,
Love
love
that.
that. That is amazing. Awesome. All right. So, so we were talking before we got disconnected. We were talking about balancing it all and how each of you seem to be doing it. Some of us call it balancing. I like to think of it as creating harmony because something's going to get left out. That's just what it is. So Kendra, we're going to start with you again. How you balance it? Kendra said sometimes she'd be ready to check out. But then when her relief, AKA daddy, comes, she just sits and watches.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how to remove myself and actually take some time for myself, like actually check out.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really grasped that concept yet, but it's we getting there slowly but surely. But we're figuring it out. There's still so many moving parts. Braylon is only 3 months, and she is doing a lot these days. So naps are getting shorter. I think I told you this, Tonya. Naps are getting shorter. And she's trying to sit up, and I'm trying to figure out why. You just got there, and I don't see what's the need to move so quickly for, but.
I just need you to lay down.
Right.
Lay down, please.
We're figuring it out. And it even though it's tough, it's still fun. Like she is really a joy. She's
Yeah.
great. She's a good baby.
Mhm.
But as you all know, it just gets hard sometimes, especially
Yeah.
because this isn't my normal routine. I'm still figuring out motherhood and
Yeah.
parenthood altogether. So it's
Mhm.
still a lot happening, but I'm still enjoying it, even though it's rough.
Yeah. Awesome. And Kimberly? Kimberly is a veteran. Kimberly is 2 kids in, a preteen and a toddler.
Right. But like she said, you have practically a newborn and you're figuring it out. I have a almost 10-year-old and I'm still figuring it out. So,
Mhm.
it's a journey.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's funny what Tonya said just now about when we try to create harmony and usually something gets left out.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's sad, but a lot of times what gets left out is us.
It's us. Yes.
Right. Because
Yeah.
everything else is running smoothly, but I'm burnt out,
Yep.
a lot of
Yeah.
times. And so
Yeah.
you have to always remember to put in that time for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Janae?
Um, s- uh, well, I still feel very new to this. So,
Mhm.
so what I tell, even just now, I was telling my sister, she was like, "Oh, you have a whole routine and it works. Why don't you tell other people when?" And other people are like, your parents and stuff when they come, like, "This is the routine." I said, "I'm not gonna pretend like I'm an expert here. Like
Right.
maybe they have a whole different program that works, And so
Yeah.
that's been like my whole thing. Like I can I think I'm emotionally intelligent enough to understand when, like, to figure out once a baby is fed, they go through the burping stage, they're still going to continue to spit up. So I'm like, okay, you got to hold them up for at least an hour.
Yeah.
After that hour, you got to try do some developmental activities to make sure that they can lift their head up soon and all that stuff. And then the next hour, you got to try fitting a nap before the next feeding. So I have a whole thing, but I can't ever say that my way is better than
Right.
anybody else's way. Now,
Right.
Yeah.
there's something to saying that, this is your baby, so you know them better. So I guess maybe there's that, but, I'm not an expert. I don't know. I'm learning as I go. And then I know that kids change every
Right.
time you
Every
blink, they
day.
change anyway. So
Right.
I'm going to
But
have to
you're an expert
relearn.
for your child.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Like I don't know. I don't know.
I all I could do is, try and be open to learning the fact or knowing that at the end of the day, I've got to be open, I've got to be flexible, and admitting
Yeah.
that she's going to change every day. So I'm actually not going to, I might not know her tomorrow. I have to relearn the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed. And Marty is actually multitasking. She's parenting
It's rough.
while she goes live.
It's rough. But
We
we
were
moms,
talking
we get
about
it done.
balancing. I
We get it
know. I
done.
know.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
know.
to piggyback off of what the other ladies and the other moms said, we're tired. Sometimes we just want to cry, or scream because we want to get it out. But we need to remember that we have to take some time for ourselves. We need to have that network, that family bond, that little village to drop the child by.
Right.
I'll see him in about a day,
2 weeks.
if only, right? But it's a challenge. There's
Yeah.
no right or wrong way about balancing mommy life and motherhood along with your careers. We just have to go with the flow, and we do it very well. So I
Yeah.
must commend all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed.
Because there's no one way, there's no right
Yeah.
way. I feel like we can take pages out of each other's books,
Yeah.
but in terms of, saying like, oh no, you should do it like this.
Right.
No, that
And
don't
then
work.
even it could vary because like with one child would work with one of your own kids might not work with the next one.
Yeah,
So it
because
depends on the child.
have you experienced that with Sophia and
Definitely.
and Brianne?
Definitely.
Wow.
What works
Yeah.
with Sophia didn't necessarily work with Brielle. So
Brielle, sorry.
you might have your routine and have it all figured out for one, and then you have another one and it throws everything off because you have to,
Yeah.
Regroup.
Yeah. And then what I learned is that they're like night and day.
Right.
Nobody tells you that.
No.
They're like, have kids, right? And then you have
Mhm.
one. And then, excuse me, and then you have the, look who's made an appearance. Look at
Yeah.
Braylon.
She
I
was fussing. Let's go get
yeah.
her.
She's like, come, because I don't know why you want to go on this live session without me.
I know.
How dare you?
Meanwhile, all I could hear my baby in the background like freaking out. I'm here like,
Oh my goodness.
Mom life never stops.
Yeah, they tell you have kids and then you have one, and then you have one and they tell you have another.
Right.
And
that
then,
first one fools you.
right? A total setup, because I think I've told everyone Layla was so mild mannered. And here comes Riley, a hurricane. Like, and I know Brielle is.
Listen, I say all the time, if Brielle was my first child, she would be only child.
Oh my goodness.
That would be
wow.
it. No more.
So a word to the wise, Janae and Kendra and Marty. The second one gonna be different.
Don't let that first one fool you. Be prepared.
Yeah.
Janae shaking her head like,
Janae's like,
I think I'm done.
I might be done.
well, yeah, we've agreed we're a part of the one and done crew, you know.
Okay.
Wow.
Likewise, one and done.
Really?
You just put one that, put everything into that one.
I respect
That's
that.
what I got.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I actually can't picture myself dividing my love from here, you know?
You could. Trust
Could
me.
You can. Yeah.
Wow.
I was the same way. I was one and done, and then until I wasn't.
Until you wasn't. Because like, what you gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But then I said to somebody the other day, I'm an only child, and I said, I wonder if that's why my mom only had one.
Wow. Well, because she was like, this one little fiery. Right. I'm done. I'm done. I'll just live vicariously through all my other friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But I knew that I couldn't put myself through the same. I guess my fear is that I could put myself through the same situation, and I can't do.
Yeah.
No. I understand that.
Yeah. I actually have a comment from Jen on YouTube, and she says it's hard to imagine, but your heart doubles with the second, and it's totally true.
It is.
And again, it's like us trying to explain to someone
you can't
who
explain
doesn't have kids, like what parenting is like. Right. And I've heard or I read a long time ago. I actually worked with 2 pediatricians, and I was reading, they have all these books, and I read that having a child is like your heart walking around outside your body.
Yep.
And it's exactly like that.
That's exactly what it is.
I have a 14-year-old, and every time she leaves to maybe go by her cousin or sleep by Grammy or whatever, I'm like, oh God. I pray, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You go through this laundry list of stuff, and then they come back and they're fine.
Right.
So it's amazing.
I totally get what Janae is saying too.
Yeah.
Because there is a fear that is deeply rooted in the back of my head, because I've been told that every time I want to have a child, I'll have to have a C-section. I can't have a vaginal birth, and I can't ever go full term because the fibroids and because of the previous surgeries that I've had. So even thinking about getting to that point where I had to give birth was anxiety driven. And then thinking about every time that I want to have another child, I'll have to go under the knife. And we already know, all of the risks, especially for Black women in healthcare and childbirth at this juncture. So it's always at the back of my head, like, what if, right? What if I don't leave with baby? Or what if my husband don't leave with both of us? Or, so and that's if you have a C-section or not. So I totally get, I'm not just saying that that's my story, but I totally get the fear that Janae is experiencing, because it's still very present with me as well.
Yeah, I agree, because I had a difficult labor experience with Brielle, so I know that I'm not having any more, because I'm afraid of that.
Yeah.
No, I'm done as well. I feel like, and Kimberly and I joked that at least for her, At that point, it wasn't a joke. But she said when she went to have her baby, her nurses treated her like she was having they call it a geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah.
She felt like an old woman. Well, that's
Yeah.
how they were treating. And I was saying to her, over 35 is obviously considered high risk, but that's kind of like what it is. But personally, I felt like I held my breath my entire pregnancy because I was 37 when I got pregnant with Riley. And I literally felt like I exhaled when I had that C-section.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, okay, with the baby being removed, it was like a weight was lifted,
Right.
So it was very interesting. They don't prepare you for these things. They just say have kids.
Right.
You gotta give your husband a child.
And it's sad because I've seen people or my friends who have gotten pregnant, like the whole excitement left, like the anticipation left, and the whole experience just seemed like it was stolen from you because you would have had a miscarriage in the past, or you would have had some bad experience. I mean, I'm the same way, right? I think the whole time it was the whole experience was really bad because at around 8 weeks I was told that my baby would be born with one eye, and like she would look like a one-eyed baby, and because of the ultrasounds showed stuff in it. And after that, it was like I can't even like breathe. Like every week, I was going for ultrasounds every week just to make sure that wasn't the case. Because the only options they gave me was to abort in 2 weeks, or go somewhere and just abort now. It was like those are the three options they had for 8 weeks, and it just takes everything away from the whole experience.
Mentally, that has to be trying. And Kendra and I discussed motherhood and mental health, but we discussed it from the premise of like you have baby, and so you go from there. But for you, it started before that.
Right.
It started before that, Janae. Like that is something else.
Yeah. And then the minute I finally could breathe, I gave birth. Like 25. Viability was 24 weeks. Is 24 weeks. That's when they said the baby could survive out of the body, and that is when I got admitted in the hospital. I'm like, oh my, it's just
the gift that keeps on giving.
As someone told me yesterday, they're like, we didn't even get to see you pregnant. I was like, you're right.
Exactly.
I wasn't
pregnant for like 5 minutes, and then
Yeah. So what's been for this question is for all four of you. What's been the feedback that you guys received since your episodes aired? I guess we could start with who wants to go first? Maybe Marty. Marty, since you're on mute.
He's quiet now, so.
Oh, he's quiet. Okay.
Well, since last week, when my episode aired, I had people actually call me to apologize.
Really?
Really?
And so let me just interject there. It was Let's Chat about raising biracial children.
Yeah. She said basically, I apologize for any of my comments to you if they seemed insensitive at the time.
Was that an apology?
I was gonna ask that.
At least she was admitting fault.
Okay.
Yeah, she admitted fault. Yeah. A lot of people were surprised that it happened so frequently to people in mixed race couples.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's true.
That must have been huge because you could think, I wonder, did I offend her? Did I say something? And then to actually speak to it is something else. So that takes courage. So I would say that's a form of apology. It's still big of her to even speak to it.
Yes, and then I've had a few other moms who are black, who the blacks in their relationship. They came to me and they were happy to have somebody speak on their behalf.
Oh wow! Look
Yeah.
at you, advocate.
Yes. One of them was mad though. She was a little upset. She's like, you need to tell them that sometimes it isn't a boy, it's a girl, and sometimes it's a girl when it's a boy. Because look, mixed
Oh.
race kids look a little, pretty-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mulatto,
Yeah.
caramel macchiato.
Yeah. And they could be, their gender could be mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this right. You're absolutely right. Or um, what didn't happen in your case is that the child looks more like daddy and takes his color, like takes all of his color. And what could have happened was he took your color,
Yeah.
and with the hair.
Yeah.
So again, mixed race, but a totally different look. What
Yeah.
about you, Janae? Janae was our first guest, and she had, and we spoke about, it was Let's Chat about premature infants.
Yeah, I think so of course anyone that has been through the experience was like, wow, it was a lot of courage for you to talk
Mm-hmm.
about it,
Yeah.
Um so a lot of people were shocked that I was able to speak about it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like I said before, the real I had a really hard time those first 2 months. Like I'd cut everybody off, and I had to come to grips with the experience myself, and I went through that. I went through the grief. I grieved for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I after the grieving, I went through a bit. I mean, I went through denial, then I grieved, and then I you know had to really sit down and have a talk with myself and say, this happens and
Yeah.
everything could be okay. And even if it's not okay, God put me in this position for a reason. And so I
Yeah.
went through that for the first 2 months. And now I've come out of this cocoon and I'm like, well, I'm ready to talk about it. I can talk about it. So, a lot of, so I had to explain that a little bit. And I think everyone really appreciated it, just the courage to do it.
Yeah. And even I was afraid to, I mean, I'm, afraid like to approach you about it. But I said, you know what, maybe you never know. This might be a good time. Maybe she might feel the need to speak out about it because, somebody might need to hear it. She went through this experience, like she may want to share her story, at a time like this. And so I thought, you know what, let me just ask, because what's the worst that could happen? She'll just say no.
Just say no.
you
But
know
a lot of people came out the woodworks. A lot of people shared their own experiences after that, which was really touching because, like I said before, I didn't even know this world existed. I didn't even know
right.
that a child born so early could survive. I remember
Yeah.
sitting in the hospital and they started to spit all kind of statistics out at me, like you have 21% chance for this, 25% chance for that,
Oh,
the whole time. And so when I got into the NICU, it was like a whole different world, and it's nice to actually educate because I was completely ignorant to the whole thing.
yeah, I can imagine. Wow. um yeah, I feel like, like you and I discussed, it's almost like an underground world. And so I find that you with premature infants, Kendra with having fibroids, another guest I had last season who spoke to infertility, she said like she had to seek out a community, or communities that actually handle or spoke to those things or dealt with those things. And they are strong communities,
Yeah,
but it's almost like a taboo topic, it's taboo.
exactly.
Yeah. And Kimberly, what was the response like post your episode where we chatted about co-parenting?
Well, I got a lot of feedback from
Mm-hmm.
other moms and men, actually, dads.
Man,
And
okay,
they're like,
awesome.
it's so refreshing to hear of a positive co-parenting experience because you
I
don't
can
hear that.
imagine.
And I think
Right.
it's so sad, really, that
Mm-hmm.
my experience isn't the norm. But like I told you, I'm so grateful for that because I know that it's not,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
people automatically think, drama when they think of co-parenting because
Mm-hmm.
especially in our society. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
You're
heard
not
from some
supposed to get
people who are
along.
like, Right. Girl, I wish that I could be like you, or I wish that my situation could be like yours. And I'm like, I know I wish I could help you, but it takes work. It takes a lot of work
It
and a
does.
lot of
It does.
maturity.
A lot. I was about to say that, a lot of maturity.
Yeah.
And knowing that not everything deserves an answer, and
Right.
that the kids are the priority. I
Right.
think
And
once you get
not
that,
taking
you're
things
good.
personally.
Yeah.
Don't make it about yourself. It's not about you. It's about the
Yeah.
kids.
Correct. Correct. Understood. And what about you, Kendra? Kendra and I spoke about motherhood and mental health.
Yeah, we touched on a few things. My feedback was mixed. So I had
Mm-hmm.
people, thank me for talking about therapy in itself,
Mm-hmm.
because that is something that we don't talk enough about. But
Right.
honestly, everybody needs it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I had a lot of people reach out about that. I had a few women reach out about the fibroid, story, or how did you know
Ah.
you had fibroids, and
Mm-hmm.
that can be a conversation in itself. And so I was able to give them some information in regards to that. Again, it's so prevalent in our community, but we don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about it enough. Like, it wasn't until I found out that I had fibroids however many years ago that I found out
Mm-hmm.
that practically every woman in my family has had them or still
Wow.
live with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was able to touch on a few things from people with that, and then somebody actually reached out about how do I talk to my partner about wanting to do couples therapy. And so
Wow.
I know that is, a big thing for some people. Again, we talked about this, Tanya. My husband was really open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate that, but I know that that's not everybody else's experience. And so, it's a slippery slope when you kind of just have to, there's no blueprint for that. There's no blueprint.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to have the conversation, see where it goes, but you also
Yeah.
don't want to force the person if they are not ready.
Yeah.
Again, therapy is work. You're unearthing a whole lot of things that you might not be able to talk about without a mediator or without a middleman.
Mm-hmm.
So they might not be ready to process in that way just yet. So you kind of just have to take it slow. But it was pretty good feedback for for a lot of things that we touched on in our conversation.
Yeah. And listening to you all, I thought long and hard about the direction that I wanted the sessions to go, because obviously we started out like, it was a pandemic. What are we doing? If I feel overwhelmed, I know other women feel overwhelmed. And then so we moved to in-person sessions, which was great for TV. And then when the numbers, when there was that uptick, I said, you know what? I felt a little bad, because I thought, okay, I'm going to continue with this, but I'm going to revert to virtual sessions. Oh my goodness, this is not going to be good. And then in like thinking strategy and all that, I said strategy, but still very organic. I said, I want this to be bigger than me, which I felt happened anyway. But I said, you know what? Maybe I should start attaching topics to these sessions, because otherwise, it'll be like, oh, I don't know Kimberly, so I'm not gonna watch. Oh, I don't
Right.
know Kendra, I'm not gonna watch.
Right.
Or Janae is a pretty girl, so let me watch. And I didn't want it to be as superficial as that. So in attaching topics, I said all that to say the fact that people are reaching out to you guys, outside of, oh, you were on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and that these are strangers or people that may follow you on social media, and so you're speaking to things that they you know feel a certain way about, and just are not don't have enough courage to come forth and actually, it says a lot that they want to speak with someone who's dealing with it. And that was my whole premise of these sessions to begin with. It's to create community and let the other woman know that, hey, someone else is actually going through this.
Right.
You're not alone, and that you can actually reach out to this person, or even if you just want to watch the episode and kind of glean from it. Like for me, like that's one of the whole reasons why, like that sounds like Minka.
No.
No,
Oh,
that's Braylon.
okay. Oh, that's brilliant. So that's one of the top reasons why I attach the topic one, and then two, for people to feel like they're not alone in whatever their journey is, because this parenting thing is a journey, period, whether you're doing it alone or whether you have a partner. And I think Kimberly and I spoke to the fact that you can be married and still feel alone.
Very much so.
That's just what it is. I actually have a question from YouTube that says, what did you all wish you knew before becoming mothers? Did I? Oh wait, I didn't. Did I? So everybody spoke about what feedback they got.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the question is, what did you all wish you knew before becoming mothers? So I guess we can start with Marty.
You're still muted, Marty.
Marty's on mute because of
There you go.
because of Zane.
Nobody warned me about boys.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Is that him laughing?
He's on my tablet. Plus, he's watching the TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he has double distraction.
Okay. Go ahead.
But one of the things I wish somebody told me before having Zane is be prepared for your life to totally change. It's not about you anymore.
Right.
It is all about Zane. See? You're gonna say hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Wow. Yeah, your life does change. It's really not about you. It's not about you. What about you, Janae?
I don't know. That's a hard question for me, right? Because there's a lot I didn't know. But mine is very specific to the preemie life and the NICU life, right? So I mean, there's just so much in terms of not knowing like the risks that were involved, how to handle those risks, everything that came with the package, right? You have a child with chronic lung disease, so now there's like a whole bunch of things that I can't even like pinpoint. There's nothing like out there that's like, oh, I wish I knew this before. Whatever I wish I knew, probably would have caused me not to have a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
No, I get it.
So it's probably great. I just didn't know.
Right.
Yeah. What about you, Kimberly?
I wish I knew that I would never be able to take a nap again.
Unless they're not home.
I even when they're not home, because when they're not home, I take that as my opportunity to do all the stuff that I can't do when they are home, which is never take a nap, which it should be. But
wow.
Like Marty said, it literally, like, they take over your life. It's not about you anymore. I remember when I had Sophia, like literally right after I had her, and the pediatrician came in and took her away, and because when I had her, my mom was in the room, her aunt, her dad, and the pediatrician and the nurse. And the minute she came out and they took her to the nursery, they all left with her.
They all do. I have a problem with that.
And my doctor, he stayed behind with me because I had the afterbirth and all that, and he said, let this be your lesson from now on. You notice, like, everybody is all about the baby. It's not about you anymore at all. Like, literally on the delivery table, I learned that lesson.
Wow.
Everybody left.
Yeah, they left.
Wow.
You're like, okay, we what we are here for has arrived. So bye.
You straight?
Yeah.
Right.
We're out. Oh my goodness. Wow. And what about you, Kendra?
The first thing that comes to mind is postpartum, or the fourth trimester, as they call it. As much information as you get in the hospital, it was still a culture shock when I got home.
Right.
So I had the lactation consultant come in, and I had the nurses all around the clock. And then I get home, and I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to do? Like, because they get you, it's information overload. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you have 50 million people coming in every few minutes. This one want to press on your stomach. This one want to tell you, okay, you have to have the baby latch now, and that's hurting. And then you just dozing off, and then they coming in again. Okay, how's this? It's a lot. And then I get home, and the first 3 days I get mastitis because I breastfeeding was a journey in itself.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it was just a lot, and I think that took me out. Breastfeeding took me out. It was a lot. It was a struggle.
Yeah.
And I know people talk about it very briefly though, like they gloss over it. Oh, breastfeeding happens or it don't. So, formula is there, but they don't tell you really how much it takes out of you
Yeah.
if you commit to breastfeeding, even if you're
Mhm.
not like feeding from the boob, even if you're
Yeah.
pumping, it is a
Hmm.
lot. That's around the clock job.
I agree.
And even if you
It's a
don't
full
want to
commitment.
breastfeed, you still have to empty your breast. So, or else you're gonna get mastitis like I did. So it was just, it's either you sleep or you pump. Which one you gonna do? Um, and then you still got to take care of baby. And then for me, I was recovering from a C-section. It was too much. So postpartum and the fourth trimester was a lot, and I wish I knew more. Like if
Yeah.
I do this again,
Hmm.
I would have
Oh, look at me.
plenty experience. So that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
I think we all wish we did.
Yeah.
Look at Minka. Minka's
Hi,
made a
Mika.
debut, guys.
I
Oh
completely.
my
I
goodness.
put a bunch of hand sanitizer on my computer, and so I'm like struggling now. Okay, because you gotta have
The good thing is it'll dry.
you gotta sanitize every time you touch her. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How's Minka?
Yeah, she's all right.
Hi, sweet
Look.
girl.
Oh, so precious. Wow. All the babies are making a
You see
debut.
the other baby?
Kimberly, are your babies at the babysitter like mine?
No, they're in the living room.
And because the thing is, when you have older kids, you can kind of, hey, Layla, I need you to watch Riley.
Right.
I just need to go and shower.
Right. I was like, do whatever you have to do, but keep her out of here.
Quiet.
Kimberly, you said what? Keep
Whatever you
her.
have to do, whatever.
Layla tells me I take the longest showers when she has to watch Riley. Do you want me to be good or no?
Right.
Like, I have to, I kind of have to do this. We have a couple of comments on Facebook. It says, somebody says, da-da-da-da. I think she was referring to having boys. She says, no limit soldier, it's a trap. Leslie says, she says, I have 4 and it gets badder and badder and triples with the third. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's true that it doubles, but they get meaner and more hyper. Oh my goodness. She also says big praises for all the C-section moms. You guys are the real MVPs. How many of you guys had C-sections? I had 2.
One and a
Kimberly, you had normal delivery. 1.5.
2 natural births.
2. Oh. Kendra, you had a C-section.
C-section. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Marty, you too.
Yeah.
How was this? Is well, obviously. So Marty, how old is Zane?
Zane is 4. I had him when I was
Zane is
36.
Oh, wow.
How was recovery? Good. As good as could be expected.
Interesting. We don't think
Yeah.
C-section is a surgery. Most people don't think of it as a surgery, but
Right.
No,
it
it's a
is
major
a surgery.
Yeah.
And the body goes through so much when you're open up and you're seeing like he's like the doctor is just cutting through layers and layers and layers and layers.
Yeah.
Yeah. People just think that C-section is easy peasy. No,
Yeah,
it's
you
wrong.
gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then to have a C-section, then to lift the baby up.
Well, to even laugh. To laugh is a
Sneeze,
thing.
cough, laugh, anything.
Yeah, sneeze. Exactly. That is something. Oh my goodness. I have a question for you guys. For Kendra, for Braylon, what do you want or wish most for her?
Wow.
Don't
So
cry.
many things, so many things. But one of the biggest things is that I do not want to stifle Braylon's voice. I want her to be able to, um, tell me what she feels without the notion that it's disrespectful. I
Yeah,
think um, growing up, and I think all of us can attest to it, if you're outspoken, you know manners, right?
right.
Um,
Of course,
but
yeah.
but for me, I struggled with that for a long time because that's all that's instead of cultivating it in a different way, right? It
Yeah,
was always seen as disrespectful or you out of pocket or you out of order.
yeah,
So if I think if you do it right, and you're not going to do everything right, but if
yeah.
if you raise your child the way however you want to or the right way,
Hmm. Yeah,
I think you are able or should be able to cultivate them in a way that they are able to still speak their mind, but
yeah,
it doesn't have to be seen as disrespect. I don't want to muzzle her. I don't want to stifle her voice. I want her to be able to be whatever she is in whatever way that she is.
yeah. Because there's a thin line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very thin line.
Yeah.
What about you, Kimberly? Oh, sorry. Were you done?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, all right. What about you, Kimberly?
What is it again? Sorry.
The question was, what do you want or wish most for in your case, for your girls?
Um, well, I want them to, as they grow, to never ever forget just always know their worth and never settle for anything.
In
You
life,
know,
period.
go after what you want and never settle until you get what you want, like until you're happy.
Yeah, yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And if you don't, because if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Right.
Hmm. Would you say that you learned that just treading the entrepreneurship road?
Yeah. And just, I
Yeah.
mean, in everything, in
Hmm.
the womanhood, motherhood, just
Yeah.
life in general,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Hmm. That's awesome. Janae, what do you want or wish most for Minka?
For Minka, I just want her to be happy right now. I don't want her to be miserable.
I get, I get it.
Well, she seems quite content now. I don't hear no gurgling, no nothing. She's just content with mama.
Yeah, I just, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, I feel like a happy child is a child that has more clarity anyway,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
that happy, I just, if I could make sure that she's happy, I'm making sure that at least she's given the opportunity to make the choices she wants to make, and also, be free to be herself, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
that's a part of happiness. So
Yeah.
I think ultimately, I'm just not going to put those obstacles in her. What is
Uh-huh. I spoke too quickly. Hmm.
it? Uh-huh.
Oh no.
What else?
Minka has something to
Oh.
say.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Um,
The two youngest ones have made a debut.
yeah.
Oh. Oh. He's like, do you want me to come? And what about you, Marty?
I want Zane to be accepting of
Ah.
differences,
Mm-hmm.
skin tone differences, cultural differences. And I want him to know that even though he's different, people will either accept him or
Mm-hmm.
reject him. And
Yeah.
even if they do reject him, I still want him to be happy with that rejection because I want him to be proud of who he is. Because
Yeah.
eventually you'll probably get teased in school, oh, you have a black mommy.
Yeah.
You know,
It is what it is.
it is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's what you're gonna do when somebody, says something negative towards you. Are you gonna reply with a negative comment, or are you gonna smile and say something nice to them?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Or are you gonna fold?
yeah. I do not want him to fold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is, I like that. I hadn't thought about that. But I mean, this is the real world, right? So people are gonna be mean and people are, gonna just, especially if they see a happy, thriving family, right? There are no issues, there are no color issues. You're really the one with the issue. And so now you're gonna project that onto the child. And then most times what happens is the children see the parents acting this way, and so then they become a product of that environment. So then they be mean as well,
Right.
you know? Yeah. I want to open up the floor for anyone that has questions for you guys while they're doing that, or while I'm giving them an opportunity. Tell me one thing you're gonna do to relax this weekend.
What's
I
that?
know what Janae doing, but Kendra say, what's that? Okay, Kendra, one thing. What are you doing to relax this weekend? And that doesn't include what you're doing now.
Tonya, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Ain't no relaxing on the agenda this weekend. Like I'm just keeping it real. Now, if it happens spontaneously,
Yeah.
I welcome it, but I
One
can't see
one
it.
thing you would like to do to relax, because
Run away.
relaxing could be taking a shower. It doesn't mean laying down.
Um,
It could be driving and have music on if you're commuting, you know. It could be anything.
I suppose. We well, I am. We are going on a mini road trip. We're driving to
Nice.
Illinois this weekend. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just briefly, see some family. Braylon hasn't met very many people, as you can imagine.
That's fun.
Um, she has only met my sister, my older sister.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
My parents haven't met her yet.
No.
Nope.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, that's also the hard part about being away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get to see very many people. So we're gonna take her to see some of her great grands. My
Oh.
husband's grandparents. He
Okay.
is still fortunate enough to have his grandparents.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so we are gonna go take her to see them, and we'll be
Okay.
right back home.
Awesome. So that's the weekend.
That's the weekend.
Okay. That's still nice. What about you, Kimberly? Whatever your version of relax is.
I don't even know what it is, what it means to relax anymore.
Well,
I haven't relaxed. I haven't
You're
relaxed
planning
since
that party.
2011. This weekend, I like Kendra, I can't lie. I won't relax this weekend. I have
No.
Sophia's 10th birthday party tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I'll have work. I have business. So
Mhm.
no relaxing for me. Hopefully next week, because my birthday is actually next Friday. So
Oh
Yay,
yay!
happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday!
hopefully
Happy
there's some
birthday.
relaxing in there sometime.
Yeah. No, it'll be great. It'll be great. What about you, Janae? Today. What about you?
I ain't gonna lie, all I do is relax. Just
Good.
kidding.
Love that for you.
I'm
10 out
joking.
of 10
Me too.
recommend.
Cheers to that.
Right.
Right? Just
And I gave
that.
you guys my secret earlier in the conversation. Every day at
Oh my
5.
goodness. Every day at 5. You have a glass.
I have to.
I need to take a page out of your book,
Me
honestly.
too.
I just get so,
Yeah.
between literally being in meetings from 8 in the morning till sometimes 5, 6 at night, plus like you working from home, Kendra, and the baby's here, and you're trying to, everyone's coming to you every once in a while, and then you're trying to figure out why the crying, why, what's going on, and
What
so
that
you're just
means,
back
yeah.
and forth,
Yeah.
and all of that just drives me to just be like 5 o'clock.
I get it.
Yeah. And well, Marty is a wine connoisseur as well. So Is that what you? What are you doing to relax this weekend? When is your husband back? When is Chris back?
He's either back tomorrow night or early Sunday morning.
Okay. Are
Yeah,
you gonna
but
just be like throw Zane?
Zane has soccer in the morning.
Oh, you're a soccer mom.
Yeah, I'm a soccer mom.
So that means you have like 8 o'clock mornings?
He has to be at the field for 8:30. Yes, but
On
if
a
it
Saturday
rains,
morning?
but
If it rains,
I'll be sleeping
which
in late.
which you might be praying for.
Might be praying for.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh
But
wow.
I'm gonna chill this weekend. I'm not gonna cook. I'm gonna order takeout.
And that's okay. Like
Yeah.
Janae is like,
Moms, don't
yes.
be ashamed to order takeout.
Nope.
I am.
Nope.
I
Don't
didn't
be
come.
ashamed.
I didn't come. I didn't. There's no shame in my mom game.
Me either.
None. How many of y'all believed in this whole perfection thing?
I did.
I'll give y'all a joke. So when I got married, my mom came to visit, and my husband went out to work one day, and she, as soon as he left, she was like, "You didn't iron his clothes." Like she asked me if I ironed. I was like, "Did do what? I don't even think we own an iron." Like he was like, "Oh no, Kendra, you can't do that. You have to iron the man clothes. You don't want him go out there and the people say, you see Kendra husband, because they can say, you see Brandon, they can say, you see Kendra husband." I'm like, girl, it is 2020, whatever. Iron clothes. She was like, well, if you don't iron it, take it to the cleaners. Not me.
Nope.
That's
And
not in the
spend
budget. Sorry. So I thought I shared that, and I think it's really funny because those are the kind of things that seep into your psyche, right? Am I doing this wife thing right? Am I doing this mom thing right? If I don't cook dinner, if his clothes ain't ironed or whatever
will
the
he
hell
leave
else,
me?
like, are you doing it right? Um, so the snapback thing too, like, are you looking okay for your husband?
Right.
Girl, I can't be bothered all the time. Sometimes I don't even want to look good for me. And I'm not saying you're supposed to let yourself go, but those are the kinds of messages that you hear often, right?
Yeah.
If you ain't doing this or you ain't doing that, you failing in your marriage or you failing your spouse. It's too much pressure. And at some point, and that's part of what I had to do a lot of unpacking in therapy too, because he was like, I never told Kendra that she has to cook every night. I didn't tell her she got to cook at all. It was an internalized pressure because of the messages that I heard from other women throughout life. Oh, this is what you're supposed to do if you want to keep your husband, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Or
So
social media.
yeah, or social media. So there is the perfection thing. Does you get messages about it every now and then, even if it's scrolling social media or if your mommy telling you to iron your husband's clothes.
Right. Oh my goodness. Who was next? Did Marty? Did you get the perfection thing? Did you have that pressure, or were you like, oh,
Do you want me to
child?
show you how inside this house looks? And the thing is, I have a maid, right? So she cleans, but this little boy refuses to keep his toys tidy, right? So if you're coming by me, that's on you. That's on
Yeah,
you. There's gonna be toys on the floor, sneakers on the floor. We
yeah,
can't do it all.
No.
People expect women to be super women. We're not.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's true.
I know. I totally get it, guys. Janae had to exit out because her weekend starts now. Um. So again, she's going to enjoy her little weekend. Like that's her me time. No, I get it. I thought too. I thought too about the whole perfection thing, and I'm an older mom, right? So what we saw our parents doing, I felt like, oh my, the pressure to sort of, not in a heavy way, but to emulate it. And then you try every now and again, like you try, your intentions are good. It helps though when you have a mate who, one, understands, two, who's non-traditional, and three, just kind of, they're like team Tonya or Team Kendra or Team
Right.
Marty or Team
Right.
Kimberly. Like, I
Mhm.
just want what's best for you. You said
Right.
you're tired. Why aren't you resting?
Right.
I took the girls. Go to sleep. Why are you sleeping? I mean, but we kind of put this pressure on ourselves, and I don't
We
think anybody tells us that part. Like they tell you be a wife and have kids, but like they don't say that. Oh, you don't have to. Look at this. I'd love to hear what Marty said to him just now. But like they don't tell you, okay, it's okay not to let him iron his own shirt, or it's okay to suggest another shirt,
Right.
or to just okay, he's grown, he can
I
do
was
it
just about to
himself.
say, I don't know why we can't just let them make the decision for themselves. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Yeah,
he's a man, and
yeah,
I think he knows how he's walking out of the house.
yeah. He
Like,
looked at
but
himself.
right. So I was like, Mom, there's things like no iron shirts, like they have like a wrinkle guard or whatever. And she was like, No,
Yeah,
I don't believe in all them things. And iron a man clothes. And it was hilarious. Like I look back on it and I laugh. And I didn't take offense to it because that is
no,
the way she was socialized. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
that's just
That's what
the
she was taught.
that's what she was taught.
Right.
And so I can't fault her for regurgitating her lived
Yeah,
experience or what she was
right.
told by
Yeah,
elders.
Onto
She's,
you.
yeah,
she's reiterating the same thing to me, and
Yeah.
I'm letting her know, yeah, this is where the buck stops. That's not
yeah.
how we function in this household.
In my
So
house.
right, so this one is mine. I
Yeah,
get to say I iron no clothes,
I ain't
or
doing
this
that.
week I'm doing laundry. You do laundry.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah,
kind of how it goes. But
Hmm.
I can't say that happened right away. There was
Right.
still some internal pressure. Like, should I have ironed his shirt? Like, I had to really think to myself that day, like, maybe I did this wrong. Maybe I should have ironed his shirt before he left. And then when he came home, I think I had a conversation with him, like, do you need me to iron your clothes? And he was like,
Right.
yeah,
no, like, I don't care. But, if that's
yeah,
what you want to do. Again, it's something we had to unpack in therapy. I recognized that he never said these things to me. It was what I was told. So
wow,
just some things you have to unlearn. It's a constant state
yeah,
of unlearning and relearning.
yeah.
Always,
No, I
always.
totally, I totally agree. Wow, look, it's us three. Okay. No, I think Kimberly had a little technical difficulty. No, I totally agree with you. And then I will say, oh, let me add her again. I will say, um, I will freely say to you, no, that look bad. That's what you
That's
wearing.
what you're wearing today. That's what you decided
What
on.
what's wrong with this, Tonya? No, that don't look good.
Right.
As I assume that you want me to represent you as well. I mean, if
Mhm.
something look funky or
Right.
just don't fit right or whatever, I'm sure you want me to, so just know that have a hole in it. You should take that off.
Right.
So it is what it is. But I wouldn't. The old. They're not necessarily old wives' tales, but kind of the old way of thinking. Some things
Mhm.
you have to just take it with a grain of salt. Same
Mhm.
way you do with your the kids and advice and stuff like that. I
Right.
feel like you have to, and do what works for you. Like do what
Mhm.
works with your house, for your household.
Mhm.
Yeah. I want to wrap up this session by asking each one of you what quote is currently getting you through motherhood.
Hmm.
Look at Kendra. Kendra's face is like, oh.
I have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do anything, but you can't do everything. I think I had that as one of my 5 parenting tips.
Uh-huh.
And that baby requires you to be present and not perfect. Um,
I like that.
Somebody said to me, I kind of revamped that. I think it was somebody checked in on me via text and she was like, how are you doing? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm drowning. And she was like, girl, it's okay. The baby don't know no difference. Like, just you just have to be happy. She just requires you to be happy, not perfect. And I was like,
Oh,
yeah, that's true. Like, I think a lot of the pressure again is internal pressure. So while I was pregnant, I was in full nesting mode, and we bought a house, and her nursery wasn't done. And then I think I woke up one day and I was like, this baby will not know if we paint it or not. She don't
Right.
care. Like it don't matter.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get over still some small anxieties. Hearing her cry gives me really, really, really bad anxiety, especially when the crying don't stop. It's like an alarm you can't turn off, and I get really flustered.
Mhm.
So again, y'all know I'm still trying to untether myself from baby, especially when help has arrived. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And
It'll
I'm
be
just,
fine.
yeah, it'll happen and it'll
Yeah.
happen organically. But at this moment, I just, I'm just here. I'm
Yeah.
her maid, her servant, whatever
Yeah.
she wants, I provide. But at the same time, I'm also trying to remember myself in the
Right.
process. I have, and I think I said this to you, Tanya. I don't remember if it was during our session or during our pre-session before
Hmm.
the chat, but I have lost myself. I'm not scared to say that out loud anymore.
Yeah.
This started before baby came. I was still trying to figure out what does Kendra like in this season of her life. Now that I'm a wife, now that I'm a mom,
Hmm.
now that I wear so many other hats, and it's not just me existing in my young self anymore. What is it
Hmm.
that I like? And
Yeah.
again, you have to relearn yourself. Every
Hmm.
season you change, you change with age. And so I'm still figuring it out, but now I'm
Yeah.
figuring it out with a family. And so I have to try to remember me in all of it. So I'm taking a little bit from each of you who Janae is like, my happy hour starts at 5 and that's just what I do, you
Okay.
know? Kimberly who said, my kids in the living room and they could do whatever they want at this moment as long as they quiet and ain't nobody dead, you know? Marty's like, you can play with the toys. I just can put the call on mute. Like sometimes you just gotta let things happen. It can't just
Mm-hmm.
always be structured and perfect. So
Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm
Yeah,
learning.
agreed. And it's funny that you're the youngest mom on now. I was going to ask Kimberly and Marty to give you like one piece of advice that has helped them get through every season of, well, for Zane it'll be 4 years, and then for Brielle and Sophia it would be 10 and 3,
Three. Mm-hmm.
10 and 3 respectively. Um, but I guess you should answer your question first, Kimberly. I think what was the question that I put to you,
The
Kendra?
question was, what's one quote that's getting you through this
Ah,
thing?
Right.
right, because Kimberly, you had exited. So our question was one quote that is currently getting you through motherhood, like in this season, and then
Right.
one piece of advice for Kendra.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say a quote, but I just try
Mm-hmm.
to remind myself, like, once they're happy and healthy,
Mm-hmm.
don't even stress about anything else. Because even
Yeah.
like, for example, with this party tomorrow, I told you I like all day I'm like watching the weather and pulling up the
Yeah.
weather app and putting on the
Oh
weather
Lord.
channel,
Yeah.
and I was talking to some of my
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I guess
Okay.
she'll be back. Okay. Okay, you go ahead, Marty. And when she comes back, we'll just jump in.
Okay. So moms take it one day at a time. It changes every day. You do not know what to expect the next day.
Yeah.
Kendra, darling, cherish every moment. Take pictures and videos because they will not be little
For a
and
very
not
God
long
help
moving
her.
time.
for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. She's don't be telling you, girl, don't play with me.
Excuse me?
Oh, wait for it.
Woo, woo.
Kimberly, sorry, you got. Oh, were you done, Marty?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. Which quote is or a saying that's currently getting
yeah.
you through
No,
motherhood?
I was saying like don't sweat the small stuff because I was talking to some of my friends today and I was like, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do about this party. And they were like, Kimberly, she's gonna have a party and her and her friends are gonna have fun. Why do you care? Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether you have to do it inside or out, once she has her party, she's gonna be happy. So, don't stress about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
No, they're
know,
gonna have a good time regardless.
right. We take on so much on ourselves and
Mm-hmm.
the kids, they really don't care.
No.
That's true.
That
I
applies.
remember.
That's true.
I
Sorry.
remember. Like Sophia's first Christmas. I had like I bought all these toys for her,
I was just gonna
and
say.
she played with the boxes, and I'm like, "Hi,
What?
what are you doing?"
Girl
You
is
know,
tree
Yeah.
full of presents
she
for
was
you.
more
You want the
fascinated with the
boxes?
boxes that the toys came in than the actual toys.
I was gonna say that applies to Christmas as well. So
Yeah.
don't go breaking the bank talking about you
Trust
buying
me.
all these things and they don't care.
They don't care. They
Nope.
don't care.
They will play with the old toy and leave the new
Yes.
toys. Mm-hmm.
Get them some
It's
Tupperware
crazy.
and they're happy.
Get them some pots.
Yeah. Trust me.
Wow. Marty, did we say which quote or saying is getting you through motherhood?
When in doubt, drink wine.
Hey, I'll take it.
Cheers.
I'll take that. My glass is empty, but clink, clink.
Cheers.
Nonetheless, I think we lost Tonya. And somebody's awake as usual. They don't stay asleep long. Say
Hi.
hello. Hi. Say hello.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are you guys there?
Yeah,
There.
we're here, Tonya.
Oh, you're there. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
When in
She
doubt,
said, "When in
drink
doubt,
wine.
drink wine."
Oh, I tell you. Wow. Well, I want to thank you guys for being live with me. I want to thank you for being my guest in October. This has been amazing. The replay for this session will be on our Facebook page and actually on our YouTube page. So thank you once again to our guests who had to leave, Darrell and Janae. And I also want to extend my thanks to Kendra, Braylon, Marty and Zane, and Kimberly. Thank you guys for being a part of Let's Chat with Tonya Lightbourne, and I will see you soon.
Thanks, ladies.
Okay.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.